So this is my little introduction tour to Twitter. This is the Twitter app. And this is what Twitter looks like on my iPhone. If I click on that. It takes a bit to launch. And I actually have 3 separate Twitter accounts, so things are a little bit more confusing. Here on the Twitter app on the Mac, I have the Chris Fenwick account, Fenwick Grill account, the Digital Cinema Cafe account. And over on the Mac, I have to keep remembering, or on the phone, when I click on the little Me button down here in the corner, actually, no, this little guy right here in the middle, I can select the different accounts that I want to look at. So the way Twitter works is you have what's called a timeline on the phone. It's here. And on the Mac app, it's this little home guy. And let me think. They should be in sync, but it's very possible they're not. Okay, they kind of are. So on the phone, I have Joseph Kahn and Oscar Mayer. I don't know why I have Oscar Mayer there. Oh, see right here, it says it's a promoted account. Obviously, the phone is more susceptible to ads. So yeah, there's Joseph Kahn, and then there's Drudge Report. Okay, so that's interesting. I never noticed that before. So on the Mac, when you select your little home icon, this is what is commonly referred to as your feed. And this is the result of all of the people that I choose to follow. Now, to see who I follow, if I click on this little head guy, this gives me my personal stats. Now, I've tweeted, I hate saying that, 6,700 times. I follow nearly 600 people. So those 600 people, I can read here. Now, again, if anybody becomes problematic or I get tired of hearing from them, I can select them. I like Eric. I'm not going to unfollow him, but I would just click this little unfollow. Okay. I'll do it temporarily. So now his stuff will not appear in my feed. But by following him, I get to see everything he says. Eric is actually quite a prolific guy. He tweets a lot. Yeah. 40,000 tweets. Good night. So when you find somebody that is interesting, let's go back to my feed, and I scroll down, and maybe Weston's pretty interesting. So let's say I want to learn a little bit about Weston. If I select his tweet or click on his head here, I can see, okay, Weston has tweeted 19,000 times. He follows 429 people. He's got 785 people following him. I can also do this little swipe here, and I can see his URL and little stats about him. And you can get that same information over on the phone. If I go, let me think, where is Weston down here? I scroll down. Where are you, Weston? Here we go. Same thing. I click on the head, and I get the same stats here. And swipe that over, swipe that back. So if I want to see who Weston is following, though, I just click on that, and now I can scroll through this and go, is there anybody here that I think is interesting? And if I do, and I could see the ones I follow already because it already has the little checkbox. But if I say, let's see, Ingenue, they make lenses. Okay, so if I click on this little guy, I am now following Ingenue lenses. Okay? Necessarily want to follow them, but I'm sure they're wonderful people. So that is the way that you customize your own feed, okay? And many people just do that. They select, a handful of things, and again, this might be excessive. Some people follow thousands of people, and they manage that with what are called these lists, and I got news for you, I don't really use those. But some people follow thousands and thousands of people. I can actually kind of keep up with these people, but you don't have to read everything. You scroll through and you go, oh, what's this guy have to say? Now, the next level of involvement is when you start tweeting. Okay, so how would I tweet? Let's say I want to tweet something. Now, in the app, I select this little guy here, and this little window pops up. Here, we'll move this over a little bit. No, I don't need to do that. And this little guy pops up. And I would say, I am teaching my friend Jesse about Twitter. And then I hit tweet. Now, I can add a picture. I'm not going to do that. And once I hit tweet, that is actually going to show up in my feed. Okay? And it'll also show up in the feed of anybody who is following me. Now, where it gets interesting, when you start getting involved in Twitter and people start responding to you, that will show up in the little @ thing. So all of these are people, and let's look at it on the phone. My little @ guy here, my notifications. These are all the people who have actually responded or mentioned me. So you see here, it's like @Chris Fenwick. Here we are, @Chris Fenwick, @Chris Fenwick. And if they respond to me, it automatically fills that. But if I wanted to just get into a conversation with somebody, like I might want to say, hey, and I can start to type and it will autofill. Actually, I have to know how to spell his name. His name is the Carl Olson. Thanks for all the support on my shows. Okay? Now, that will mean that will show up as being in Carl's notifications, but it will also show up in anybody that follows Carl. Okay? Anybody that follows Carl will go, oh, Chris Fenwick is talking about Carl Olson because they follow Carl. All right, so that's kind of cool. Now, another thing, and this is, the social punchline in the Twitter world, is what's called the hashtag, okay, the £. So hashtags are used to join into a conversation. So like, for example, earlier today, I was talking about QuickTime. So if I went #QuickTime, I wonder if OS X 10.10 will be the death of QuickTime. Okay? Now, I can save some characters here. Right here, it tells me how many characters I've written. I can actually save some characters here if I actually cut this out of here. Take that space out. Instead of just typing the word QuickTime, I can actually wiggle the hashtag into it. And what that means is people who are interested in QuickTime might come down here and search for QuickTime. Oh, like some of this shit I'm searching for. But if you search for QuickTime, the word QuickTime comes up. But if you want to be a bit more poignant, you search for hashtag QuickTime. And now it's people who are actually talking about the topic. Now, some people think hashtags are stupid. I kind of like them. You can see they bring up a different search result, and they're worth following. And I think they're worth using. The next thing that is important, I'm going to quit this and discard it because I don't want to actually do that, is what's called a DM. Okay, so this is your general feed. This is your notifications, anybody who is mentioning you. And this is your DMs. Now, a direct message or a DM is actually like sending somebody a text message, okay? So if I wanted to send Carl Olson a private message, it's easy here because I can just hit this button and you can see this little icon here says that it's me and Carl talking. But the first time you send somebody a DM, you're going to have to get a little bit more tricky, and you come down here and you say new direct message, and then you have to figure out who he is. And I know that it's the Carl Olson, so I hit continue, and then I can type a message to Carl, and that will be totally private, just between he and I. I think there's been multiple occasions where politicians have gotten in trouble because they thought they were sending a DM and they weren't. So that's a DM. The lists are something I don't get into, but basically you can create subsets of your of the things that you follow. So if I like somebody like the Drudge Report, I might want to add this to my news list. Okay. And then again, this is the stats, my own personal stats. And then this is your search stuff. So that's a quick rundown of the Twitter. And hopefully it gets you over a hump in wanting to participate a wee bit. Later.